All right, it's Monday morning and it's way too early in the week, and we just had our spring forward with the clock, so it's a little too early for me anyway. But would you look at that? Just look at it. I I can't. I just can't look at it. This is actually a serious car that Toyota made. It's the limited production run. 1,500 are being made. Thank God. Look at those white wheels. This thing's ridiculous. It's the Corolla hatchback, and it's called the FX 5-door hatchback. So there's some good news and bad news. So obviously we had the Corolla GR, which was a 3-cylinder little hot rod that wasn't. And Corolla used to make a manual. Toyota used to make a manual Corolla in this body style that I drove. And I was one of the first journalists to drive the Corolla hatchback. And I drove it on a racetrack at Eagles Canyon Raceway here in Texas. I liked it at the time, and now it's aging. Everything's aging. Even the Mazda CX-50 is aging. But look at this, okay? I got the window sticker here. And today, being March 9th, let me show you here. It says special edition. And yes, it's dirty. I don't wash these cars, especially with limited production run, brand new. This thing has like 1,500 miles on it. It's going to go to other journalists, but basically if I took it to a car wash out here in Texas with mouth-breathing Bubba washing it, he's going to scratch it, and then I'm going to hear about it. So I just leave it the way it is and let them take care of it. They love doing that. They just go, hey, thanks, we'll take care of it, thanks. Because it's easier to let them take care of it than it is to let them repair it. Okay, so here we go. With the fuel prices the way they are today, we're getting 38 on the highway and we're averaging 33 mpg, which, well, let's see you do that in your CUV, because we used to have hatchbacks a long time ago, and then now people are getting CUVs. It's like, why do you need something higher off the ground? Get something a lower profile, get something sportier, get something fun. I don't care how old you are, you will always want something fun. This is fun. It's a fun-ish. It's funny looking, I'll tell you that. But let's get to the real deal here. $28,751 is the price. Now that's practically half the price of the average new car these days. The funnier thing is they have a TRD air filter in a Corolla, which is actually a GR. So there's like TRD, which is the first version of their performance from Toyota, and then GR was like their Skunkworks division. And I'm surprised that they have a TRD part in a car that can come in a GR. It makes no sense to me, but I'm not a Toyota fanboy. Here's what I'll tell you though. The reason why this is, I'm going to call it cheap, even though it's, well, it is and it isn't. But you see things like this, okay? This build quality here, this is a very simple thing to do. You just bolt it on, okay? And you have your hinges here, but then you have your strut support. And it just basically, when you start looking at this thing and how they made it, you start realizing, oh yeah, okay, that's how it's so affordable. You look here and you go, oh, okay, yeah, I guess it's just a Corolla. I mean, does this even provide any structural support beyond just a seal for the window? I don't know. Oh, I was gonna pop the hood. So whereas there we go. Okay, the GR had a 3-banger, and the Corolla that I drove when it first launched had a 4-banger. Here we go, a 4-banger. So we're basically, is this turbofied? Turbofied. Oh, that's interesting. A Panasonic battery, tiny battery too. And you'll see there's no struts here. It's just a hood prop. Transverse mounted, front wheel drive, so it's not all wheel drive like the GR. So basically, it's just a hatchback. It's kind of like, you can get a Volkswagen Golf, or you can get this. You can get a GTI, you can get a Golf R, or you can get a Corolla hatchback. And you can just be like, yep, I saved $10,000. Oil dipstick right in the center there. Where's the oil filler? Oh, there it is. Man. Cannot see today. I don't know if an engine cover is supposed to be on here and missing, or if it's supposed to be like this, because that's another way to save money. At least you can access everything immediately. I don't know why you'd need to. I don't know if it's a TRD airbox. Okay, so it's a washable performance filter. Care instructions with a QR code. Interesting. And it's a quick release there, so you don't have to get out a screwdriver and fiddle around with the, well, maybe you do. No, you don't. Oh, that's interesting. You know, it doesn't do anything, by the way, for the intake sound or anything on here. So, you have a car with this ridiculous color and these ridiculous white wheels. Let's get a screenshot. Hold on. Thumbnail. I'm gonna put the little hatch down. It's a fun little car. It's practical. I mean, I've been able to put stuff in the back. You know, go do a Home Depot run, get some wheat and feed or whatever. And thumbnail. It's much more orange than red. It looks red on the camera here, but let's see if I can get you dialed in here on the color. Well, that's definitely not. Well, you know what? It's about like that. That. Nope. Right there. Nope. Well, you get the point. I think the only ever red car that was truly red on camera and in person was the Rolls-Royce Cullinan. That was, of course, like a $10,000 paint job. Here's the problem. You get spoiled when you're in a car like this, because you do have radar cruise, and you do have a center screen here that really just does Android Auto, or Apple CarPlay, I guess, but you have to plug it in or use Bluetooth. And if I use Android Auto on my phone with Bluetooth, I need to charge it. And then we have a wireless charger. So we actually have a lot of features in here, and we have a stitched look leather kind of thing here on the dash. It does not look cheap in here. It does not look like, except for maybe when you look up there, but there's no lighting. So it gets really dark in here at night. When you open the door, there's this light here, but there's no like ambient lighting. And this is why the car feels a little dated, because there's this screen, which is actually, let's turn this on. It's actually, well, it's not that big of a screen. Let's see if I can do this. Push button start too. Full cluster in digital display aspect, blah blah blah. Auto high beams. But look at the screen. Like, the real estate on that screen is pretty useless. And it doesn't even have all of the, it's a subscription setting for the regular Toyota GPS. So you might as well just not do that and just use your phone and plug your phone in or whatever. But here we are. We've got our, it's loading still. It's not, I wouldn't say it's slow. But what I would say is, like, it's a small screen, and it's almost like if you had a one of those Samsung fold phones, it would almost be bigger than this screen, which is funny, you know. It's like this whole thing, having to look at it, they could have just given me nothing. You know, I almost would have preferred almost like pick a tablet size, you know, like a very thin horizontal one that just gives me the gauges and runs an app that shows gauges, or like a stereo faceplate kind of thing, and you just plug that on there. But instead they give you this whole thing, and it's like, why? We don't even need this. We just don't. So just give me a stereo faceplate plug-in thing that doesn't take up all this room and look like that. Or give me the one where I can buy the bigger screen with the GPS and then still use my phone, I guess. I don't know. But, yeah, I think things are going to change going forward, because I don't think we're ever going to see this again. Just so you know, this is my philosophy coming out. And we do have heated seats, by the way. And these seats, too, in this version, they're kind of upgraded and bolstered. They have this Pretty sporty fabric on them, and in the back too. But in the front, they have like this, you know, gnarly look to them. This is great, but it's just, you know, what you forget when you get into a small hatchback like this, rather than being a CUV, is that you can actually take corners. You don't really have much ground clearance, but you can whip around corners, which is what you would want these bolsters for. The biggest downside, besides the paint color and the wheel color, let me get my seatbelt on here, is it's a CVT. Let's turn this off. How do I turn this completely off? How do you turn off? Oh, right there. Duh. So it does have drive modes, but why? You know, this is the worst part. The horn. Oh my god! It's like it's made for I don't know, Vietnam or something. Or, hey neighbor, let's get some daiquiris. Something stupid, you know, like that's not me. I wish they had more of a serious horn in here, because you kind of need something like that. You can't just sound cute everywhere you go. Let's do this. Go off-road a little bit. This is not anywhere near like what you'd be like, oh yeah, let's do some rally driving here on the rocks. It doesn't. It just no. It doesn't do that. You can get more of that feeling in a CUV. Let's go over this gravel. Okay. Not fast. It's obviously not fast. And I don't know why they didn't just put a turbo on this thing. Like, what are they smoking? Manual and a turbo in a 4-cylinder. Why did they put a 3 in the GR? I will never understand that. And why'd they ditch the manual in the 2-liter 4? It just kind of makes me go, yeah, it's a boring car. And yeah, you know, I feel like you know, it's definitely getting old, but you know, what are you gonna do? You know, there's nothing you can do. You can just buy it and save money, or go get something else. And you know, the biggest complaint I have too is the quality of the sound from the stereo. When you're shooting, targeting for your sales to hit a younger audience, and I'm not young anymore, but I do know what I like. And ever since I was young and could drive, I always wanted a badass stereo in my car. And what shocks me is that Toyota never has like a premium upgrade, or maybe even an accessory upgrade to the sound system. And there's so much potential here to let people dump some money into this thing to make it more of like a personal car. Instead, they give you this crazy orange paint, which comes with this version. Let's see what the name of that paint is called. It's called Inferno. Yeah. And white wheels. It's like, yeah, that, who cares? Who cares? Give me a banging stereo for, yeah. Anyway, I also noticed something weird too, is when you look out this glass, okay, and then you look out that corner glass, you see something strange, and that is, let's see if you can pick it up on camera. You can. This glass is more clear or blue, and this glass is more gold or yellow as far as the tint. You notice that? If I roll the window down a little bit, you see that? What's up with that? That's just a weird thing, I guess. Driving wise though, it's just very comfortable. You can cruise around. The seats do feel, I feel like I'm sitting higher up in the car and looking down. So like you feel here like you're not in the car, you're just kind of on the car. And I thought with these sport seats, you know, it would be, which almost look like they're from the Supra, but they're definitely not. You can see there how high off the floor they are. It's a good 12 inches up front there. It's almost like, why couldn't they lower the seats even more and make me feel even more lower to the ground? Because this thing is low to the ground. It's just, I don't know. It's probably some kind of safety aspect, you know, get your knees up or whatever for a frontal crash. There's always some kind of an excuse. And that's kind of where I'm at. It's like these, you know, you're paying more for this than you have to get this special edition. But what I would ask, and I can't do a poll in my comment section, but what I really want you to do is I want you to leave a comment, especially if you're some college kid or whatever, or maybe you're just in your 20s, or maybe you had one of these in your 20s and now you're in your 30s, or maybe you're in your 40s and you're like, I wouldn't mind that. But then you're like, hey, okay, tell me, go like, hey, Brian, you're right. You know what? What they need to do at Toyota is basically they need to ditch the white wheels and the orange paint and just make it blend in with everything else out here. But give me a banging stereo, you know, and don't make it obvious, because I don't want anyone breaking into my car for my stereo like people used to do in the 90s and the 80s, actually. That's kind of where I'm at. It's like, please leave a comment. Tell me, what would you prefer to have in here? You want these seats, or you just want normal seats and you want, you know, a $2,000 kick-ass stereo as an upgrade? Would you pay for that instead of this look? By the way, we have a mat here. Here we go. Spare jack. A lot of junk in the trunk. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. And don't worry about me, guys. I'm good. They drop new cars off of my house every week. I don't really pay for fuel. I usually just give it back to them with good luck. There's like 10 miles in the tank. Fill it up, have fun. But I don't beg for money. I don't need any of that. I just live free here. So subscribe, like, comment. Really, tell me what you think. You want these white wheels, or you want a banging stereo? Because I think Toyota's lost. I think they're run by spreadsheets and AI, and they don't know what they're doing anymore. And I'm not even a Toyota fanboy, but I would like to see them get their stuff together so that we don't have to endure cars like this for 10 years. You know, like, there's no hard plastic in here. Well, maybe here, okay, but there's less hard plastic in here than in the new 4Runner. So when they made this car, or conceived it, and they started building it in 2018, I think that's when it came out, maybe even 2017, you know, they were really focused on finishing and touches, and you can see it in here, but now it's not even appreciated anymore. But I would say, like, ditch this screen, give us two options, you know, like a plug-in option, plug in a little, you know, like a touch screen version of a old school, you know, head unit, a 1-DIN head unit, or give us the GPS one, but not the subscription GPS. Give us a larger screen that we could use when we connect our phone for Apple CarPlay. So give me the Android Auto. Give me an Android Auto Apple CarPlay compatible screen, or just give me a little head unit screen that's touch screen that runs the stereo. I really don't care, right, about, let's go here. Let's go here. How does this work? It's, you know, this is also my phone being slow. Forget it. There we go. Okay. I do not care about the Toyota version of everything, because we have to pay to play with the nav. And as far as the radio, okay, I already get that through my app, and then the phone, obviously, yes. And then the car settings, trip information, okay. So what have we been doing? We've been averaging 29.3, and I drive like an a-hole because I have to make sure that this car performs, right, in all sorts of conditions. So I drive it all sorts of different ways, and it means fast, slow, scary, retarded. I do all of it. So, you know, none of this appeals to me because, you know, first of all, you get into every single car every week, and you're like, let me set it, let me configure it, let me do this, let me do that. A lot of this needs to just be get in and go, and I don't have to look at what these buttons do, and it should just be automatic, right? I don't have to read the manual. It should just make sense. And a lot of stuff in here does make sense. You know, it's not overly complicated. It has 1,800 miles on it now. It's basically, I enjoy it. You know, there's touches here like the red contrast stitching, right? So, you know, as far as having a new car and under budget, you know, 20 grand under the average price of most new cars these days. And I guarantee you, you're not going to miss a CUV when you already have the hatchback. You know, you've got a bigger back seat back here. There's no air vents in the back, but you know, what do you really need? This is my question. What do you really need in a car these days? Do you need to spend 50 grand? Because I think what's going to happen is reality is going to hit for a lot of people these days real fast. With pump prices, with insurance, it's already done that. Maintenance, you know, when you're buying a new car, you really want a decent warranty, which, let me just figure this one out, because back in 2008, the warranty was a big deal. Actually, Hyundai did one where it was like, if you lose your job, we'll buy your car back kind of thing. That's how bad things were then, and I wouldn't be surprised if we ended up there again. Corolla is actually made in Japan. It's got great crash test ratings, right? Something, you know, if you're on a budget and you're buying an older car, like let's just say a 2014, you know, the car crash standards change all the time, but does a 15-year-old car or a 10-year-old car hold up to crash testing, you know, with all these trucks on the road and everything? Are you safer in a 2014 Corolla or Camry, or are you safer in a brand new Corolla? That's always my question. I want to know. And then you got your fuel cost, and then your price here is below the $50,000 average. Would you do this if you were like, hey, I was going to look at the warranty. I don't mind dumping my old, you know, GM or whatever vehicle to get, and it comes with a full tank of gas. That may be very valuable one day. What I'm saying is, you know, do you want to put up with constant battles of never-ending paying for cars? Even if your car is paid off, you're still paying for maintenance, you're still paying for insurance, you're still paying for things. So at some point you just have to like cut the rope and then go with something that's a little bit more maintainable, or doesn't need much to go down the road for a while, you know, like there's not much to go wrong with it. And what I'm saying here is, I don't even know about the warranty. I don't even see the warranty info. Do you see it? I don't see it. Even here. I mean, this window sticker is very bare bones looking to me. And this isn't even, it doesn't even show the horsepower on there because it doesn't matter. Let's see. I cannot see it. Well, you're going to have to go figure out what the warranty is on it. I don't think you'd ever need an extended warranty on this thing. A lot of people think, you know, oh, I'll pay you $5,000 and then you'll pay me $5,000 back in maintenance, like that, or parts, whatever. I don't care. Not necessary. You drive one of these, you lease it, you pay $250 a month or whatever, you dump it after 3 years, you get another one. Like, you're just kind of renting the car. Like, that makes more sense to me in a tighter financial situation, especially when you're worried about gas prices. You know, when you go from a truck or a CUV like that into something like that gets you 30 miles per gallon. I think what it says to me is like, you got your priorities. If I was to date some chick who was driving one of these, I'd be like, yeah, she's smart. She's completely smart. She cares about certain things, but she's not a tool, you know. She's not caught up in the thirst trap of a Buick. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and definitely leave me a comment about, do you want the wheels on the seats, or do you want a good stereo? Something like that. Tell me what you want. And Toyota will see it, because Toyota does watch my videos. Toyota does pay attention. And this is your chance. I'm telling you, it's your chance. Even if you're younger and aren't even driving yet, or can't drive until you can drive, what would you want in this thing that would compel you to be like, I need that. I need to have it. I gotta have this. All right. Have a great week, and stay out of trouble.